All right, welcome. Today we're diving into something that's totally fundamental to human life. But honestly, it can feel like a bit of a mystery. I'm talking about the menstrual cycle. And we're not going to treat it like some dry biology lesson. Instead, let's look at it for what it really is, this incredible, cyclical story of preparation and renewal that's happening inside the body month after month.
So what are we really talking about here? At its heart, the menstrual cycle is the body's way of getting ready for a possible pregnancy. But it's so much more than that. Think of it like an incredible dance, perfectly choreographed by chemical messengers we call hormones, all working towards one goal, creating the perfect environment for new life to begin.
So, how does this whole story actually play out? Let's follow the journey, step by step. We'll start at the very beginning of one cycle and see exactly where it takes us.
Okay, so here's our roadmap for the journey. The whole thing is usually broken down into 4 main phases. Now, you always hear about the average 28-day cycle, right? But it's super important to know that normal can be anywhere from 21 to 35 days. So think of this as a guide, not some strict rule. All right, let's dive right in. At the very beginning, day 1.
Our story kicks off with menstruation, which most of us just call a period. The very first day of bleeding is what marks day 1 of the entire cycle. So you see, it's not really an ending, it's actually the very start of a brand new process of renewal. So why does this even happen? Well, in the cycle right before this one, the body was super busy building up a thick, nutrient-packed lining in the uterus. You could think of it like prepping a nursery, just in case a fertilized egg needed a place to call home. But when no pregnancy happens, the body gets a very clear message. Okay, this lining isn't needed anymore.
And the body is incredibly efficient. It doesn't hang on to what it doesn't need. So it sheds this lining. And that process is what we call a period. It's a mix of blood, mucus, and uterine tissue that usually lasts for about 3 to 7 days.
And right here is where the biology connects to, well, real life. Those hormonal shifts that are driving everything, they can also bring on all those familiar symptoms. Everything from cramps and back pain to mood swings and just feeling exhausted. It's all part of the same biological event.
But here's the wild part. Even while menstruation is still going on, the body is already looking ahead. This next phase, the follicular phase, actually starts on day 1, overlapping with the period. Its mission is twofold. Get a new egg ready and start rebuilding the womb.
And what's so fascinating is where this all begins. It's not in the ovaries, it's in the brain. The pituitary gland acts like the body's mission control, sending out that first critical signal to get the whole operation started.
And that signal, you guessed it, it's a hormone. It's called follicle stimulating hormone, or FSH for short, and its name pretty much tells you exactly what it does. It travels down to the ovaries and tells them to start growing several little follicles. Each of these is a tiny fluid-filled sac, and inside each one is a single immature egg.
So FSH gets the ball rolling, telling the ovaries to grow a whole group of these follicles. But then it's like a race begins. One of these follicles just pulls ahead of the pack and becomes the dominant one. And this winner gets a brand new job. It starts pumping out the hormone estrogen, which in turn signals the uterus to start rebuilding its lining, getting that room ready all over again.
And all of this leads us to the absolute centerpiece of the entire cycle, the main event that everything has been building towards, ovulation. All that prep work was for this one single pivotal moment.
All that rising estrogen sends a message back up to the brain, basically saying, hey, the egg is almost ready. In response, mission control, the pituitary gland, unleashes this powerful surge of luteinizing hormone, or LH, along with a bit more FSH. This LH surge, that's the final trigger.
That massive surge of LH is the go signal. It causes that dominant follicle to literally rupture and release its mature egg. And now, the egg is free. It gets swept into the fallopian tube to start its journey. That moment, right there, that is ovulation.
So now we're entering the final act of our story, the luteal phase. After the egg is released, the cycle comes to a fork in the road. The fate of this entire month-long journey now comes down to one simple question. Is the egg going to meet a sperm?
But hold on. before we get to those two paths, we need to introduce a new player. That empty follicle that was left behind in the ovary, it transforms. It becomes this temporary little structure called the corpus luteum, which actually means yellow body. And it has a brand new vital mission. It starts producing the star hormone of this phase, progesterone.
So, progesterone is now calling all the shots. And this is where we hit that fork in the road. Path number 1, the egg gets fertilized. If that happens, the corpus luteum gets the signal to keep pumping out progesterone. This keeps the uterine lining thick and cozy for the pregnancy, and the whole cycle just pauses. But what about path number 2? Well, if the egg isn't fertilized, the corpus luteum just kind of gives up after about 2 weeks. It breaks down, and those progesterone levels, they take a nosedive.
And that sudden drop in progesterone is the final signal. It tells the body, okay, no pregnancy this month. That lining is no longer needed. This is what triggers the lining to shed, which results in menstruation, and just like that, we're right back where we started, day 1. The entire intricate cycle kicks off all over again.
Think about it. From a simple signal in the brain to a race between follicles, a massive hormonal surge, and a final phase that all hinges on fertilization. It's just this incredible story of communication and renewal. And it kind of leaves you with this one big thought. What does this elegant and incredibly efficient cycle really tell us about the remarkable design of the human body?